What is up, y'all? Sorry for not posting a video in a long time. We've gotten a lot of snow here, and school started back up, so I haven't really had time to really work on any videos or anything, or any content for y'all. But I hope y'all can understand. But I'm back, so I have a couple things to talk about in this video today. It's mostly going to be kind of a beginner-friendly video, just telling y'all some of the best things if you're first starting out to get into bass fishing. I would get some of these items, and I'm gonna show y'all some pretty decent brands to get started with. But let's just go ahead and get into it. And the first thing we'll be talking about is rods. So if you're first getting into fishing, the rod that I recommend to you is a bait caster, or not a bait caster, sorry, a push button rod. I said bait caster because it looks like a bait caster. You have the button that you press down, let the line out. Whenever you're holding down, that's when you wind back. You flick your rod forward and you let go, and then you retrieve it. So they're very similar to bait casters, but a lot easier because it's like a spinning reel and a bait caster mixed together. Because the bait caster, the spool is open in the front and it has a button, but then the spinning rod, it's like a bail that you flip open and the line is in the top like this, but it uses a bail instead of a button. And this, the line comes out of the top, just there's no bail and there's a button, so it's kind of like a mix between the two. And if you're first getting into fishing, I would recommend getting yourself one of these, because depending on which brand you buy, they can be pretty good. Like, this is a Zebco right here. Whenever I take my friends fishing, I usually give them this because the only time they fish with me, and I take them out once a year. So yeah, but if you're really starting out, I would recommend picking up a Zebco push button rod, because they'll help you a lot when you start fishing because how easy they are to use. And sometimes they can cast far, but sometimes they can't compared to other reels. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the spin reel. So as I told you, this is a bail that you flip up, and then you flip the bail up, but before you flip it up, you have to hold the line down so the line doesn't feed. And that's when you can flip the bail up, you cast, but as you're casting, you let go of the line, and you just flip the bail down and start reeling it in. And some of these reels actually are automatic, so whenever you cast with the bail open, whenever you're ready to reel, you can just start reeling and the bail will flip for you. But sometimes those get wear and tear a lot easier, so I don't really use them a lot. But I'm pretty sure I have at least one. But yeah, these are a little bit more complicated, but if you get a bigger size, they can cast a lot farther with heavier baits than a Zebco push button. Push buttons are usually, from my experience, used for lighter baits, but this is a lighter spinning reel, so this will cast light baits farther than a bigger one would. So yeah, but these are a little bit more, spinning reels are a little bit more complicated, and in a second I will show you guys how to kind of use both of them. So let me get into that. Alright y'all, unfortunately I cannot go outside because it's way too cold. It's it's not even 20 degrees outside, so yeah. But right now I have a spinnerbait tied on. These are a very good bait for beginner fishermen, just because they're very bright and flashy, and they catch a lot of bass for me, and sometimes they even catch bluegill and crappie. So yeah, but this is the spinning reel, and let me go ahead and show you guys how this works. So what I do is I always take the line and I hold down on it with my index finger. I flip the bail, and usually when you flip the bail, as you can see, it lets line out. lets line out whenever you flip the bail. And whenever you flip it like that, it reels in, as you can see. But yeah, these are really good for smaller fish, but so are Zebcos, so yeah. And what I really like spinning reels a lot more, obviously because I know how to use them better. But I can kind of do stuff like this where I hold onto it with this. I wouldn't recommend like any beginners do this because you'll probably mess your line up. But I open the bail, I grab it like this, and this kind of gives me like spot placement. Like let's say I want to cast it right in front of that bucket, and kind of let go, and it's in the bucket. So yeah. But I don't think that this is an automatic reel. Like I don't think that whenever I reel this in with a bail still open, it'll go down. But oh, I went too far. Here, I'll open up the bail. This is how you can tell if your spinning rod is automatic or not. Reel it in a little bit, just like you flip it like this. You open it, and then you start reeling. Okay, so mine is actually an automatic. That's pretty cool. I have no idea what brand this is, so yeah. But it's a pretty nice little rod. I think it was like 40 bucks or something, so pretty cheap. This rod has caught some fish. It's a pretty light rod, so if you're ever going for big fish, this rod is pretty fun to use just because how light it is. And yeah, but this is a very nice rod. Now let me go ahead and show y'all what the Zebco looks like. Alright y'all, I am back with the Zebco push button. Actually no, this is a slingshot. It's pretty cool. Maybe it is Zebco. Can't tell. Yeah, it's Zebco, okay. But it's a different color because this one was already lined up rigged up with the same bait. So yeah. But it's the same thing, it's just a little bit smaller. And the drag seems to be and this rod's just kind of broken, but it works the same. So as you can see, this jiggles a lot no matter what you do. But yeah, so this is old, so it doesn't work as well as you can see. But yeah, they're very easy to use. You push down the button. Obviously for here I'm not going overhand, I'm just swinging it. But whenever you're ready to let go, you go ahead and you let go of the button like that. It goes, and then you just lift it like that and you reel it in. But I guess I could try the trick with this one right here. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, very close, but this is old, so it kind of like came back a little bit. Let's try it one more time. I just need a longer line. Huh. Oh, damn. Yeah. So this one's kind of broken, but it's still a great example. This is like one of the original ones that I've had for a long time. I used to use this all the time. But yeah. So depending on like, if you think you can do one, try it out. Don't spend a lot of money on it just in case if you don't like it. Like, I would spend like maybe $40 tops. I made it maybe $40 tops on a combo from Walmart. Maybe even $50 depending on your budget. Like if you have a $100 budget, then go ahead and spend that like $50 to $60 on a good push on like a good spinning rod, because you don't really want to spend all your money on a Zebco for a push button rod, because like they don't last as long in my opinion. Because this one, I mean, I told you it's old, but I've really been using it for the past like 7 years and it's kind of breaking down. But my other spinning rod that I've had for longer than that was my dad's when he first started fishing, when he was like before he even had me, when he went fishing. He had a spinning rod and it's still usable to this day. So I personally think that spinning rods are a better option. Look at this, it's not even reeling. I have to like pull up to reel. But yeah, I personally think that spinning rods are a better option, but it's obviously up to y'all, whatever you want to buy, whatever you want to spend your money on. But let's go ahead and get on to the baits. What's up, y'all? Back here, and now I'm gonna show y'all the best beginner bass fishing bait. So the first bait that I'm starting out with is it's like one of the most simple baits to use, and that would be a soft plastic worm, tube or log style worm, I guess what they call it. This would be like this is like a Senko, a lunker log, or whatever Guggen calls it, but these are really simple baits to use because there's a ton of different ways you can rig it, and because of that, it's really versatile. You can use it in a lot of situations, and it's just really good for beginners to use, I think. The way I have it rigged up right now is with the wacky way. It's literally just a hook, special type hook straight through the center, and you let it drop. And I've heard that most of the time people get hit on the drop, but if you don't, then you can either medium retrieve it or slow retrieve it. You just bump it across the water, you know. But yeah, I don't really know what these are trying to imitate. They're honestly kind of weird, but they're really good baits. So if you're a beginner, I would think that that's a pretty good start. But I think, in my opinion, literally the best place to start fishing, or like the best bait for like your first bait should get, are spinner baits. Because they're so good. You can fish a lot of things with them, a lot of different places, and they have a ton of different sizes and colors. So like here, let me show you an example. So here's this one. This one is red and silver. And then you got the one earlier in the video, like I showed you guys with the rods. You can have one that's all white or all silver. This one, I don't really know what this one's trying to imitate, but it's a cool looking color. Maybe a crawl or like a more realistic bait fish. And they even can come with like 2 different blades on them and like a different style blade with different colors or different sizes or something. So this one's kind of like a teardrop and this one's like a diamond sort of shape. And they're super versatile, man. Like, they're really great. You can even get some in like this size where like massive. Like it's crazy. Like how versatile these are. You can even hook up like soft plastics to the back of some of them. They're just great versatile baits for every beginner. I think everybody should get them. This is my personal favorite spinner bait. It's pretty kind of heavy. It's the Rocket Shad by Strike King Rocket Shad spinner bait. And the reason I feel like I should recommend this one the most, because your hookup will be really good because it has 2 hooks on it, like 2 hooks connected to one. So it's just really great for hookups, and it also just imitates shad really well, as you can see. But yeah, spinner baits are just super great baits for beginners, and I really recommend them to anybody just trying to start out fishing. And depending on what size, depends on how far you can cast them, what they look like, what they're trying to imitate. And obviously those are trying to imitate their bait fish. But yeah. And my next thing is some sort of like vibrating jig. So what I have here is the chatterbait. The way I have this rigged up is with a crawl on the back. But I learned this from I think I told y'all this, but I learned this from Kicking Their Bass TV's friend. I forgot his name. But this is the front of the bait, so it's going to be going through the water column like this. So that's why I have the crawl rigged up sideways so that these kind of look like the tail following behind a bluegill or a bait fish. And these are really nice because they go through the water and they kind of just like buzz around a little bit. And they're just really nice, and it'll get you a lot of attraction during the springtime and fall times when you're really like, they could be eating or they just see it and they're like, you know what, I'll go for a snack. So I love them a lot. They're pretty nice. They're kind of like a spinner bait. It's just that it has like an actual heavier jig head, and it's just like, instead of like having a shiny blade, it's more of like something in front of it that creates a lot of noise. So yeah. But the next thing I have is like a square bill crankbait. As you can see, the bill is square on it. These can come in many different sizes. Like this one maybe dives about like, it's kind of hard for me to estimate because I don't use these a lot. But I say that one this size probably dives around 3 feet. And then one that's a little bit bigger like this could go up to 5 feet. They come in many different shapes and sizes and color waves. Talking about like there's Jordans, but you know. This one is pretty cool. It's a stripe. It will probably look like a minnow. But this one looks most like a shad. And it rattles a little bit too. But yeah, these are really good because they're really good presentation wise. And they attract a lot of fish, especially if they have a rattle in them like that one. So yeah, that's why I recommend them. And our last bait, I got 2 more baits, but they kind of fall into the same style. And that would be like a top water bait. So I don't think that frogs would be a good first top water bait. But I think something like this would be, where it rattles and you can just kind of like glide it across the water in like a motion that's kind of like going back and forth. And they look really good because they make a lot of noise and they create a lot of commotion on the top of the water. And that'll lead to some pretty nice top water strikes, and I think that'll look pretty cool. They look pretty cool. Depending on what you're going for, if you're going for a bass, you probably want one around this size, maybe a little bit smaller. I've actually seen catfish hit them before, which is pretty cool. And since talking about top water here, I have the Whopper Plopper, or whatever it's called. I think this is the Berkeley Chapo 75 shad coloration. But this kind of thing acts like a little helicopter going through the water as well. Makes that sort of sound. And yeah, they sound really cool. They create a lot of attention in the water, top of the water, and they're really just fun to use. Excuse me. And I think that they're just pretty nice baits overall. They're really fun. So if you're a beginner, then you could probably get one of these and have a lot of fun with it during the springtime, maybe late evenings and early mornings and stuff. And that's really all I have for like the best beginner baits. But I have 3 more baits I want to show y'all. They're pretty interesting looking baits. One of them I have never seen before, and it was actually pretty cheap. But my first one, which I have seen before, is the original Jitterbug. I don't have one of these in my collection. Well, now I do. And if you've never seen one of these before, it kind of like goes like back and forth. It's really cool how it works. And I just really like them. I've seen videos of them. I've seen videos of them getting slammed by some big bass. So I'm pretty excited to use it. And yeah, I think this works. I think it'll work pretty good. My next one, it's kind of like a topwater frog, but it's a mouse. And I got all these at the Richmond Fishing Expo. Pretty cool, pretty cool. That place is really nice. Y'all should go to a fishing expo if you can. But there they had a whole bunch of rods, boats, baits. Really, really cool place. I wish I could have recorded it, but I actually got picked up from school early to be able to do it. My dad picked me up, which was pretty cool. But yeah, the only thing is, I realized, look at this. It took barely any effort to take this tail out. And look, it's just hollow in the middle. Which means that a lot of water will get soaked up. And if anything, a bass trying to take this out, it's going to swallow that. And which means that whenever I use this thing, I'm probably not going to put the tail on it. And after every cast, I'll probably have to squeeze out the water. But that's okay, because I think it's just a cool and fun looking bait. So I'm going to be using that in a future video. And this thing, okay. This thing was $12, alright? It is massive. It is like the size of my hand. It's painted like a bass. Look at the treble hooks on this thing, man. And it even has like a buzz bait blade in the middle. Like, listen to this. Like, that's crazy. I've never seen anything like this before. But, who knows? Maybe it'll catch a giant bass. You never know. I have only one place in mind for this bait, and I'll be going there first day of spring break in March. So make sure like and subscribe if you want to see that video. Just stay tuned, you know. But yeah, this thing is crazy, man. It rattles too. Like, it's crazy. You can even tie it on 2 different points depending on like if you want to dive a little bit. So you have the center point and the second point. Yeah, it's really cool looking. yeah, it just looks like a largemouth. Tail's kind of flexible. The rest of it's just all plastic, but this thing is crazy, man. $12. My whole haul, which is all this stuff from the fishing expo, was like $20 total, which is crazy. But yeah, so that's really all I have for this video. Sorry for not posting for a while. I just haven't had time to with school and no more snow days. We had one 2 days ago, but I was out for that day. I was like doing stuff, so I couldn't really post then. But I'm sorry about that. And I do take y'all's comments. I hope y'all noticed that. I trying to like react to comments and stuff. I kind of underestimated that. I thought that, you know, this would be like a little thing where people would just watch my videos just for entertainment. And I'm really happy to see that I'm building a little mini community out here. And I really appreciate everybody that's commented and like give me tips. I saw one dude told me about the underspin, give me really good advice for it, so I really appreciate that, y'all. But thanks for watching, all y'all. If you want to subscribe, if you're new here, go ahead, leave a like, post notifications, so stay tuned. But yeah, I have a really exciting fishing video coming up in March, and maybe with that video or that place I'm going to, maybe I'll try and catch a fish on every single one of these baits. These 3 baits right here. I think it's possible, dude. The bass there are massive, and you catch a bass on almost every cast. It's crazy. Y'all should definitely stay tuned to watch that video. It's insane. Such a cool place to be. But yeah, that's all I have for y'all today. Hope y'all enjoyed this. I really appreciate everything that you've been saying to me and like giving me encouragement and stuff. I really appreciate that, y'all. But hope y'all have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.